Okay, so one of my favorite trends for next year, one of my favorite predictions, is actually the increase of founder-led brands. So whether you are launching a new brand or whether you're an established brand, but you're bringing the founder much more to the forefront of your social media marketing, this is a huge trend that is working so well for many successful brands this year. People are not just buying products, they're buying into the people behind the product. 82% of consumers are more likely to trust a company when its leadership is active on social media. And that statistic is from Forbes this year. So much more trust is being created through having a founder that has a profile, has a presence, whether that's on your main corporate channel, maybe it's from their own LinkedIn profile or Instagram or TikTok, but essentially talking much more about behind the scenes of the brand, what's happening behind the curtain, and shedding some light on some of the challenges or exciting product developments that you are working on as well. This isn't just an Instagram thing or a TikTok thing either. It can work incredibly well for B2B brands, sharing useful knowledge and helping others establish themselves as industry leaders, is what Dharmesh Shah, the founder and CTO at HubSpot, talks about. He has now over 1 million followers on LinkedIn. And so we've seen employee engagement really and employee advocacy really build over the last few years. But with LinkedIn being in an incredibly strong position going into 2026 in terms of its engagement rates and how much people are using the platform, it is definitely a consideration as to whether you could get more of your leadership team or indeed your founder to be more active with their profile. If you are planning that, then I would certainly recommend a bit of a profile glow up for 2026. So do an audit of your LinkedIn profile, check to see that you are accurately describing who you are, what you do, your credentials, and that profile is well branded as well, because that is incredibly important for those first impressions. So, key takeaways there is your founder is your unfair advantage. People connect with people, not logos. That's something we've massively learnt this year. And we've seen founder led brands like Grace Beverley's Tala, or Mr. Beast's Feastables, or Stephen Bartlett and his Diary of a CEO, and all of his other brands dominate because they have a face, a story, authenticity that faceless brands can't replicate. If you're thinking about TikTok as a platform to perhaps share your founder's story behind the scenes, your founder wins, that platform rewards human connection and storytelling the most. I would say it demands the most personality of all of the platforms. If you're a little bit more kind of corporate and aren't used to really kind of opening the door to people, I would suggest LinkedIn is a fantastic tool to consider, particularly if your CEO or founder isn't that comfortable on camera. You could also consider who in your leadership team could be if your founder or CEO doesn't want to share too many public updates. Another tool which we haven't mentioned yet, but I do think is going to have a pretty big year, is Threads. So Threads, which very much looks like early stage Twitter, I think is going to be an interesting place where a lot of founders will flock to help share more about the story of their business, the messy middle, as many call it, the product developments, the failures, the pivots, the behind the scenes content. I would love to start up a Threads, but at the moment you still can't create a Threads account without it being connected to an Instagram. So I'm waiting for that day to happen, which I'm hoping will be pretty soon. And then, of course, consistency. Consistency has become one of the favorite words of the social media marketers, hasn't it? So, consistency is key. Just keeping up your posts. It doesn't matter necessarily whether you're doing it daily, weekly, twice a week. Showing up regularly, being real, and letting your personality shine is what's going to be important to consumers in the coming year.